In this video, I'm going to show you how to start weaving this little breastplate that we're going to make. So I'm going to show you the end result, and this is what it will end up looking like, except you will not have the gold running through because I ran the gold through like this. So it'll look something like this. We don't have the exact minerals to match the exact colors of the gems, but we'll just do our best and match what we can. And this is what you should have as a final project for a grade. All right, so let's get started. You should have this, and you're going to have 3 different colors of yarn. You have the blue, the red, and the purple, which are the 3 colors that God required. So one thing that I think we need to realize is that God's directions were very specific, and that's one reason I wanted us to kind of go through this process of making something like this, because it wasn't like they could just do whatever they wanted to. So if you noticed your yarn, they have slip knots, so please do not tie that in a knot. Okay, it should come out very easily if you pull it. Sometimes I like to just kind of take it out just to be sure. If it feels like it's getting tight, then I would stop and try to get it out. Otherwise, you will have a really hard time getting your yarn out. So we've got 3 different colors. I'm taking the slip knots out of all 3 of them. You decide what color to start with first. It doesn't really matter, but you're going to do 1 string at a time. So now I've got all my slip knots out, and I think I'm going to start with purple. So you just take 1 of the purple strands, and it's pretty simple. We're just going to weave in and out until from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to start going under the first string. That means I'll go over the second, and then under, over, under, over, under, over. All right, so then you pull it all the way through until you have just a little bit left over here. So that's all the way to the end. And what I do with this one is I'm going to wrap it around like that, and then I'm going to send this through that loop and just kind of pull it snug. And it's not really a knot, but it's just going to hold it there. Okay, so now I'm on the other side, and we go the opposite. So I ended up with over. So then I'm going to go under, over, under, over. And you have the yarn before you to tell you this one's over, so the next time I need to go under. Make sure you're paying attention to that, especially at the ends. Over, under, and then my last one is going to be over. And so you see how I have it like that. And you just kind of push it down. We push it down like that. And then we're here, we're over. Try not to, I just pulled it a little bit, and I don't want to make this tight. So I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Now I'm over, and I'm hoping these each go 4 times across. So I'm over. So now I'm going to loop it around and go under, and try not to catch. See how it caught that? I don't want that. Then I'm under and over, and notice my one before was under, so make sure your next one is over. So that's over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and I'm going to pull that. This thing keeps getting in my way, so I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. All right, so now I've got 3 rows, and I'm just going to, every time you want to just push it down to be really snug. We don't want a lot of gaps in there. Let me show you what I'm going to do with this thing, because it keeps getting in my way. Okay, so tape. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to tape it to the back. And that's just going to keep it out of my way so it doesn't keep wanting to get in the weave. All right, so I look, and I'm over right now. So I'm gonna go under, over, under, over, no, something's not right. I'm over, under, I went under twice. So definitely pay attention to that, or it's gonna come all unraveled. Over, then under, over, under, and it's gonna end in an over. Again, try not to pull so tight, and we're just gonna push it down. And right now I have 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm gonna stop because this isn't enough to go back. So once I stop, I want to come back under, and it makes this little circle like that, and I want to push that through, and I'm just going to pull it so it kind of grabs that yarn. Push everything down, just real soft, carefully, so it just looks nice. Then I've got this thing in my way. You could cut it shorter before you tape it to the back, but you want it to be long enough because you're gonna have to tie a knot with the other string. So I tape it to the back and I get it out of the way. So that's our first color. So then you have to decide where am I gonna go next? So I think I'm gonna go with red. So I'll get a red string. And try not to get your yarns all tangled either. Okay, so I have red, and I try to keep the pattern going. So this was under, that was over. So it looks like I'm gonna go under. And most of the time when we start a new thread, it's gonna do the same pattern as the last thread because we did rows of 4, which is even. So if you know anything about patterns, and then you know. All right, so we're going under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. And again, you want to pull this yarn so you get just a little bit left at the end. We're going to loop that under. Then we have this little loop right here, and I want to tuck this piece in that loop and just pull it snug a little bit. Push it down, snug, push all of this down against the purple. And there we go, we've got our first row of red. And again, just always check to make sure it's doing the opposite of the one that you just had in there. All right, so I'm ending with over. So we're gonna go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and I'm going to pull it through. And again, try not to pull through too tight because it will pull this string too tight. So just until it meets the yarn, and again, push everything down very carefully. And then we are, see, that's getting in my way. So I'm going to tape it back here so it will get out of my way. All right, so we are over. So then I'm going under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. You pull it through very easily because we don't want to pull it too tight. Push everything down. So I've got 3 rows right now. You see it's making a nice pattern. And it will look really nice and neat as long as you're careful. Push everything down at the end. All right, so I'm over. I'm gonna go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. I'm gonna pull it through. Scooch everything down. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 rows. That's all I'm doing is 4 rows. And so I've got a lot left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut a little bit of this off. So I'm just going to take it. I don't want to cut all of it off because again, I need to tie a knot with it, but I want to cut enough of it off so it's just not so big. And then, oh, we didn't loop this around. We need to loop it around. And if you cut too much off, you're not going to be able to do those things. All right, we've looped it around so it's secured, and we're going to tape it onto the back. And there we have, that's our two colors. And then my third color is going to be the blue. And you'll just keep that going until you get to the very top. When you get to the top, there shouldn't be any gaps. You should have been pushing it down. And when you get to the top, I'm going to do another video to show you how we take it off of here. But for now, you should be able to get started and get your weaving done all the way to the top.